We first need to deal with unanimous consent because the bells are ringing. So do I have unanimous consent to take this meeting until 5 minutes prior to the vote? Agreed? Okay, we will continue. So we are now back to the debate on the sub-amendment of Ms. Romanato's motion. Mr. Cooper, the floor is yours.
I would just seek unanimous consent to withdraw the sub-amendment.
Okay, I'm looking for unanimous consent for Mr. Cooper to withdraw his sub-amendment. I'm seeing consent. Excellent. Okay. Madame Fortier, did you want the floor?
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
Yes, please. Thank you. I would like to read the amendment that it will be as follows. The new motion will be as follows. Pursuant, and I will share it with the clerk. My team is now trying to draft the motion. Pursuant to Standing Order 108.3, the committee proceed to an examination of violence and harassment in the workplace for members and would examine the consequences of harassment on members in the House in their constituency offices and would make all relevant changes with respect to the staff, to the members of the members of the Parliament who are involved in the workplace and in a position where they would be affected by this harassment. B, the chair and the speaker rather, and the former speaker of the House of Commons as it would be called to appear. D, the sergeant at arms. F, the interpretation directorate specialist on harassment and well-being. And H, other witnesses if need be, and that at least 3 meetings between June 21-24 be held to hear witnesses, and the list of witnesses be submitted during the 7 days following the presentation of this motion. The committee is to report to the House on the results. I think the motion has been circulated to the members, but unfortunately not to the interpreters.
Okay, thank you. Colleagues, Ms. Romanato.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So just to reiterate, during our suspension, we had agreements amongst the parties, and so I just wanted to make sure that that these are reflective of the conversations that we had. Donc ça c'est qu'est-ce qu'on a discuté.
This is in fact what we discussed earlier.
Ms. Romanato, I'm looking around the room. I'm seeing head nods, so there is implied consent here. So with that, would we like to call a vote on this motion, colleagues, or would we simply like to apply unanimous consent? Okay, I'm asking for unanimous consent. I'm seeing it. Okay, the motion is adopted. Congratulations, colleagues. That was a very productive use of time this morning. Mr. Cooper, I believe you wanted the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I will now move the motion that I put on notice arising from the prima facie question of privilege that has been referred to this committee by the Speaker and by the House.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Monsieur Lauzon.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Chair. According to the edition that we have, there is an amendment that I would like to move to Mr. Cooper's amendment. I have sent it to the clerk. I imagine the clerk has received a copy of it, English and French, but unfortunately the interpreters do not have the French and English. There is a change of date, though, that has to be made. In the penultimate paragraph, 9 September for 9 August. That is part of the negotiations right at the very end. Okay. Is it distributed? Mr. Chair, it is a long motion that Mr. Cooper has presented. He's moved this. We will take the time that is necessary for that. The first paragraphs will remain the same with respect to the referral as 9 May. With respect to the will make, for the purposes of this study, the evidence that was received during the study of foreign election interference, and 2, the evidence received during its study of the prima facie contempt concerning intimidation campaign orchestrated by Wee Chow against the member for Wellington, Halton, and 3, the evidence received by the Standing Committee on Access to Information Privacy and Ethics during the study on foreign interference, provided that it shall not limit the witnesses who may appear in the committee or the questions that may be asked of them. And in the last line, we add in public, including the documents, the public documents that would be dealing with federal, received by and publicly available on the website concerning cyber attacks. The public inquiry into foreign interference, federal electoral processes, and democratic institutions to have been received by this committee and may be used in its reports, provided that it shall not limit the witnesses who may appear before the committee or the questions which may be asked. And so, little c, invite the following witnesses to appear. 1, Honorable Dominique Leblanc, for 2 hours. We take 2 hours out. Bill Blair, the same thing. We took out the Honorable Marco Mendicino. He is the former Minister of Public Safety. And we added Harjit Sejan only for 1 hour. We took that out. And for the Honorable Anita Anand, we took out for 1 hour. The panels of impacted Canadians, members of the Interparliamentary Alliance on China shall appear for 1 hour per panel. It becomes 3. Erica Jantz continues to be there for 1 hour. Michel Bédard for 1 hour. Officials on the House of Commons administration by themselves for 2 hours to discuss cybersecurity on the condition that 1 hour is in camera. No, just a minute here. We added the House of the Sergeant at Arms of the House of Commons, officials of communications security establishment for 2 hours on the condition that 1 hour be in camera, officials of the Canadian Security Intelligence by themselves for 2 hours on the condition that 1 hour is in camera. Nathalie Drouin, we took away alone for 1 hour. Vincent Rigby, former advisor to the Prime Minister, alone for 1 hour. And further to this, David Morrison, former acting National Security and Intelligence Advisor for 1 hour. Judy Thomas for 1 hour, we withdrew. Officials of the Federal Bureau of Investigation by themselves for 2 hours on the condition that 1 hour is in camera. That was added. And also officials of the Interparliamentary Alliance of China by themselves for 1 hour, and academics, IT and cybersecurity experts and witnesses requested on the condition that they give their list 10 days before adoption of the motion. And with respect to the production of all memoranda, briefing notes, emails, we added Canadian. And with respect to any drafts which are in the possession of officials between January 2021 and February 2022, with respect to the critical election, Camel and the Minister's Office of the House of Commons, whoever is in that position, to deal with cyber attacks and the efforts to conduct cyber attacks against members of the House of Commons by advanced persistence threat. And we withdrew the list of documents. And at point E, we added that the minister add that this is done according to the respect for privacy legislation, and that all these expurgated documents be tabled by August 2nd, 2024, and also that the committee make its report to the House by December 13, 2024, and that the report be made to the House in good and due form and in time. This is what was given to Mr. Cooper. Thank you so much, Mr. Lauzon.
Are there any other members that wanted to speak here? Okay, colleagues, just give me...
Yeah.
Oui, Monsieur Berthold.
Mr. Berthold, I understand that this study, the 6 meetings by the end of June, will be dealt with. Yes, this is the time in the agreement. Excluding today, we have 9 meetings left, and they will be dealing with 6 of them will be dealing with the study there specifically. Even though we know that there are PMB bills that will be heading our way, we do know that there's a great deal of work in this committee, but we have agreed to deal with these 2 issues over the next series of 9 meetings.
Mr. Bruson.
That there was a copy that was circulated. Maybe if the clerk can help me clarify by reading out loud the wording that was read to that was circulated, just to make sure, perhaps, just to make sure we have the right wording in front of us.
We all give everything on.
Okay, colleagues, there seems to be just a... Yes, Ms. Romanato.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So I believe all members and substitutes have received the document with the amendments. So I would, because I know there was some people who hadn't received it when it was being read out, so I just want to clarify that what is in the document is what's the proposal. So because somebody didn't have it when it was being read out. So for the sake of expediency, rather than having the clerk reread the amendments, could we all agree that the document that was circulated by the clerk is the version that what we are voting on? Thank you.
Okay, colleagues, so just to summarize that there may have been a different version that was being worked on as Monsieur Lauzon was reading. Whether there was or not can simply be rectified by the committee agreeing that the motion that everybody has in their hand that was circulated by the clerk is the one in which we are going to be asking the committee to adopt. I'm looking around the room. Okay. With that, we are going to move to a vote on this motion. Do we want to have a recorded vote, or would the committee like to adopt by unanimous consent? I'm seeing yes on all sides. Okay, this motion, as circulated by the clerk, is adopted. Colleagues, I want to congratulate everybody on a collaborative and efficient use of our meeting time today. I'm very pleased that we have gotten to a point where we have some substance for us to dive into. Colleagues, there are a few things to discuss following the meeting, just in terms of when we're going to get together to talk about the path forward vis-a-vis the two motions that we have just adopted as a committee. But with that, I am going to move to adjourn. There's plenty of time for everybody to get to vote, and we will see you again on Thursday. Okay, meeting adjourned.